Fashion lovers, welcome again to another interesting video tutorial. In case you're new here, my name is Gift, and if you're an old subscriber, thank you for always finding a reason to stop by. In today's video, I'll be showing us how to draft a strapless bustier with inset yoke. More so, I'll be showing us how to manipulate this pattern into and off the shoulder, as well as showing those who want to add yoke to theirs how to go about it. So in case you have not subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe, like, share, comment, and also turn on your notification bell so you can always get notified every time we post a new video. So as you can see on the table, I've already gone ahead to draft my half scale bodice. In case you don't know how to do this, I'm going to be leaving the link in the description box just to show you how to draft a basic bodice. So I'm labeling that part at my center back and the part facing me at the center front, side front, and side back respectively. Okay, so as you can see on the back, I have already gone ahead to drawn out my dart leg, and the dart intake I'm working with here is 1.5 inches. And in order for me to get that dart leg, all you need to do is just to divide what you have on your waistline by 2 and then connect it to the straight line up to your chest line, coming down by 1 inch. Now for the front part, to get your dart leg, you're going to be dividing your bust span divided by 2. Mine is 7 divided by 2, that is 3.5 inches. I then connected that all the way to my bust point like so. Remember, I told us the dart intake I'm working with is 1.5 inches, so I went ahead to impute 0.75 inch on both sides of the dart leg. So the waist I'm working with is actually waist 28 divided by 4, that is 7, plus 1.5 inches for the dart, that is 8.5 inches. Now I'm doing all this for the sake of the beginners here. So this is how to get your waistline measurement. So the dart intake I actually working with throughout this tutorial is 1.5 inches. Okay, now as you can see from this pattern, the waistline for the back is shorter by 1 inch from the waistline of the front. My front waistline, that is shoulder to waistline measurement, is 15.5 inches, while the back waistline measurement is 14.5 inches. Now, I showed us how to take that measurement in my video where I showed us how to take accurate body measurement. Now, the difference between my front and back waistline measurement is 1 inch. Of course, we're not going to throw that away, and that was what I imputed as my my bust dart. Now, if the difference between yours is 2 inches or 3 inches, you want to go ahead and impute 2 or 3 inches as your bust dart. But if you're working with exclusively plus sizes, there are different ways of drafting patterns for such people. Okay, so now to the tutorial proper. The first thing you're going to be doing is to divide what you have on your shoulder line like so by 2. Okay, you want to divide whatever it is you have on your shoulder line by 2, and then you're going to mark it. Now, remember, I have my center back and my center front, side front, and center back respectively. So after dividing what you have on that shoulder line, you're going to be connecting that point with a straight line to meet up with your bust point, just like I'm doing in this video. Okay, you're also going to repeat this same process for your back. Okay, you're going to divide what you have on your back line, shoulder line, by 2. Okay, from your shoulder width to your shoulder tip by 2, and then you're going to connect that with a straight line, just the same way you did for the front, down to your chest line. Now, to that point where you have your bust, your dart leg rather. Remember, for your dart leg for the back, you have to come down by 1 inch from your chest line. This is to avoid sharp points. Okay, now that you have already gotten these 2 lines, the next important thing you're going to do is to impute your cleavage line. Now, if you have not seen my video on how to take an accurate body measurement, you need to go watch that video. So the cleavage I'm working with is 3.5 inches. And to take your cleavage line, you're going to place your tape measure on the midpoint of your neck, and then impute where you want the yoke or whatever you're adding to start from. So I'm just ruling a straight line from my shoulder line to that point, just to give me a straight line, and I have 6 inches. So what I'm working with from my shoulder line now is 6 inches, and I'm just ruling that line across like so to meet up with my back pattern, okay? And I label this as my new chest line, which is what I have as my NCL, my new chest line. Now this is called the over bust line or the new chest line. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is to do your over bust tightening. Why do you need to do this? You need to do this in order to tighten your over bust so that it doesn't gape. If you don't do this, you're going to have gaping around that area. And I'm working with 1.5 inches. You can do 0.75 on both sides. You can do 0.5. You can even do 1 inch depending on the size of your clients. Why for the back line, I'm just going to be taking 0.5 on both sides of that line like so. Now for the front, I have 0.75 inch on both sides. Why for the back, I have 0.5. So you're going to be connecting those lines with slightly curved lines. Now, please, guys, do not use too much curve. If you use too much curve, you're going to have issues by the time you're joining. In fact, you can use straight lines. So I'm just going to be connecting that with slightly curved line to meet up with my bust point like so. Can you see? This is gradually coming to place, and so I'm going to label that as 0.75, 0.75. Can you see? Good. Now why for the back I have 0.5 on both sides, I'm going to be connecting that with slightly curved, in fact almost straight lines to meet up with my dart leg like so. I'm also going to repeat the same thing for the other parts. Remember, we are working with 0.5 on both sides, not 0.75 for the back. Now can you see it is not curvy at all? It is not curvy. So for the back dart, I'm working with 1 inch, while for the front I'm working with 1.5 for my over bust tightening. Now we are done with our over bust tightening. It's time to work with our under bust tightening. We need to tighten the under bust. Now from this pattern, the under bust has been tightened by at least 20%, okay? But now I need to tighten the under bust the more to give me a perfect fit. Now the under bust circumference I'm working with is 27 inches divided by 4. So I went ahead to impute that like so. Can you see? Now I'm going to measure what I have left from that point to this side front line, and I have about 1.75 inches left. Can you see? So in order to tighten our under bust, we are going to be sharing these darts in an unequal form. I mean, I'm not going to be dividing it equally, so I'm just going to be imputing 0.65 inch on this part that has the side front, that is the side front area. I'll be imputing 0.65. You can impute 0.5 if you want, and then I will take that 0.65 line. Remember, I took out 0.65 from that part. I'm going to place the 0.65 on my second dart leg, meaning that I've taken that out, and then I'll continue the measurement until I get to 1.75. Now we have successfully taken out that dart from our under bust line. Can you see? This is how to tighten your under bust. Now watch what I'm going to do here. Look at how I'm going to place my curve, okay? This is how to tighten your under bust. So I'm just going to be connecting this point to meet up with this first over bust tightening here with a curve. Now with a curve, can you see? This is to give me that smooth transition that bust point do have. So, and then I'm going to place this curve on the other part like so, making sure that the curve is touching the first over bust line and also this second point I marked on my under bust. Can you see? Guys, you need to pay attention here, because if you don't do this rightly, or if you don't do this right, you're gonna have issues, and you do not want to have sharp bust point. Okay, can you see how beautiful this turned out? So this is how to place your curve. Can you see the smooth transition we have around our bust point? Cool. This is how to tighten your under bust. Now the next thing you're gonna do is to connect that point to meet up with your waistline like so. That is, you're going to connect it to meet up with the dart leg on your waistline. And to do that, I'm going to be connecting it with a straight line, okay? I'm going to be connecting that point with a straight line. I will also repeat the same thing for the other side as well. I'm going to be connecting that to meet up with my waistline like so. Now, guys, please pay attention. Can you see that these 2 points have sharp points? And you don't want that to look that way. In order for you to have a smooth transition, just place your curve in any which way that works best for you, and that just eliminate that sharp point you have there. Okay, so guys, can you see it is no longer looking so sharp? So now we are done with that. The next thing we want to work on is our off the shoulder. Now guys, if you do not want to add strap to yours, you can cut out this way, but for me, I want it to be an off the shoulder. Remember, it's off the shoulder. So in order to get your off the shoulder, we need to create a new armhole for our off the shoulder. We cannot use this armhole for our off the shoulder. And so in order to do that, what you're going to be doing is to impute your strap to strap. I also showed us how to take the strap to strap measurements in my previous video on how to take an accurate body measurement. If you're working with a slim person, you can use 5 to 5.5 inches on fold for your clients. If you're working with a plus size, you're going to use 6 or 6.5 inches on fold for your clients. Now, look at what I'm doing. The strap to strap I'm working with is 10 inches divided by 2. That is 5. But when I measured from my center front to that point, I got 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to place the 3.5 inches on the second dart leg, and then I'm going to impute my 5 inches. Now, if your measurement is going out of the armhole line, you don't need to worry, just impute it. Now for the back as well, the strap to strap is 5 inches, remember. So from my center back line to the first dart leg there is about 4.25 or so. And then I'll bring the second line, I'll bring that measurement to the second dart leg and continue my 5 inches there. Can you see? Cool. Now you have gotten your strap to strap. Next is for you to plot your armhole for the off the shoulder, and to do that you're going to measure what you have on your shoulder tip to your initial chest line now, and then you're going to divide that measurement into 2. Can you see? I got about 3.25 or 3.35. So from that point where you marked your strap to strap, place your tape measure on that point and then bring down the measurement you got now, and then impute that measurement. Okay, impute the measurement, connect it with a straight line like so to meet up with your side. Okay, and then connect another straight line to meet up with that strap to strap, just like I'm doing in this video, just to form a box. Okay, just to form a box. You are also going to repeat the same process for your back. Now you're going to connect your new where that strap to strap point to meet up with this other point to form your new armhole for your off the shoulder. Guys, do not use too much curve here. If you use too much curve, your cleavage is going to show. You have your breast or your boobs showing, and you don't want that to happen. Can you see? It's almost a straight line. So this is now our new armhole for off the shoulder. Now we are going to repeat the same thing for the back side. Divide what you have from your shoulder tip to your chest line by 2. Can you see? Divide what you have there by 2. I got about 3.5 inches. Place that 3.5 inches on your strap to strap point and bring the measurement down. So I'm just going to place that like so, and then connect with a straight line just to form a box. Okay, just to form a box. Can you see the two lines are matching up because my measurements are accurate? Okay, so you're also going to connect that point to meet up with your strap to strap point like so, and also form your new armhole for your off the shoulder. Okay, your new armhole for your off the shoulder. Guys, do not make this too curvy. I keep iterating this. Now guys, at this point we are almost done. I'll just go in with my marker pen just to make these lines bolder for us to see. So guys, I've gone ahead to make those lines bolder. As you can see, the over bust tightening is 0.75 on both sides for the front and 0.5 inch on both sides for the back. And now the next thing we are going to do is to cut out, because I need to draw my style line for my yoke in order for me to close my bust dart. Now guys, to close one dart you have to slash through another dart. So I'm just going to be cutting through or slashing through my waist dart all the way to my bust point like so. Can you see? The reason why I'm doing this is so that I'll be able to close my bust dart. Guys, remember to always close your bust dart, because if you don't do this you're going to make a mistake. Okay, so now I have slashed through my waist dart, and in order to close my bust dart, I will just pick it up this way on this straight line like so. Pick it up this way, fold it in like this, and then match it up with that bust point line. Can you see? match it up. Now guys, as you can see, these two lines are matching up. This is because my curve was very smooth and accurate. This is one sign or one way to know that you have correctly drafted your patterns. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and tape that down. Now if you notice that these two lines are not matching up after closing your bust dart, guys, you don't need to fret. Just connect the two lines together with a straight line like so. But as you can see, mine is almost matching up, so I do not need to worry. Okay, so now that I've closed my bust dart, it is time to create my style line. Now guys, from the picture, you can see there is a yoke from the chest line all the way to the waistline, which is called an inset yoke. So in order for me to draft that, I would just create my style line. Now to create the style line, the first thing you want to do is to determine how wide you want your yoke to be. For me, I want my yoke to be 0.75 inch wide by the time I open it up on my waistline. So I'll just divide the 0.75 into 2. While on my initial chest line, I want it to be about 2 inches by the time I open it up. So I will impute 1 inch on that line. Okay, I will impute 1 inch on that line. Now to create the style line, what you need to do is to close your over bust dart. Guys, anytime you're making a bustier or you're making any pattern that has a yoke, please, I will advise that you always close your over bust dart like so. Now as you can see, these two lines are no longer matching up. For those that will be imputing a yoke or that will be inserting a yoke, I mean an upper yoke, what you're going to do is to transfer those markings now with your tracing wheel. And the reason why you are transferring the markings using your tracing wheel is so that you will know which parts to cut out by the time you start to cut out your patterns. Okay, so for me, I'll be closing up this over bust tightening like so. Can you see? The reason why you're doing this is so that you will know how your yoke is going to look like by the time you are done drafting. So now I will go in with my pencil using my free hand and then connect those lines together like so, just to meet up with my new chest line. Guys, you can do or use any style line of your choice. Okay, I'm just creating that line to meet up with my new chest line like so. Can you see? So at this point, you can see that those lines are now matching up. So now I know which way or which part to cut out by the time I'm cutting out these patterns. And also from the picture, you can see that it has some kind of curvy effect around that area, and that is exactly what I am imputing. Okay, please ensure to draw any style lines of your choice as far as you have closed your over bust that you do not have any issue at all. So now that I'm done drawing my style lines using my free hand, I will now go in with my curved ruler just to make those lines smoother and more beautiful. Okay, and then I will go in with my marker pen just to make those lines bolder for us to see. So guys, at this point we are almost done with this pattern drafting. So for those who want to add a yoke that comes all the way from the under bust line, this is how to do it. But for me, I will not be making use of that. I will just be making use of this line that came all the way from my waistline. Okay, so guys, we are actually done. So all I'm doing here is just to make those lines bolder, and then I will label that part as the yoke and the lower part as my main patterns. Okay, so for you, if you want to add a yoke, you can cut out that part and that is going to serve as your yoke. Now there's another thing I need us to understand. If you're adding a yoke, now if you're adding a yoke to the upper part of your pattern, if you're not making use or doing the same style, recreating this style I'm doing, what you need to do is to tighten your yoke. And to tighten your yoke, just watch what I'm doing. You have to create a dart on your yoke like so. Remember, we took out about 0.75 inches from the lower part of this pattern. So if you do not dart your yoke, it means that your yoke will be bigger than your pattern. So you need to dart it this way and close it up. Can you see? So let's say I'm adding a yoke to mine. This is exactly what I'm going to do. I would then cut it out like so. Can you see? Good. So now you just cut out, and that is basically all. And then remember to re-add whatever it is you darted on your armhole line. This is because sometimes based on the kind of fabric you're using, you might have a shortage. So remember we took out this dart here. You have to add it back on your armhole line. Remember it's about 1.5 inches. So you need to add it back for the sake of clarity and so that you do not make mistake. It's better to have more fabric than to have shortage. So if you're adding a yoke, make sure you add back whatever you took out from that part, which is about 1.5 inches. Add it back to your armhole area like so. Sometimes you may not need it, but it is better to add it back so you don't end up with fabric shortage. So guys, at this point we are basically done with these patterns. I'm going to be cleaning that out because I'm not adding a yoke to mine. So I'll just cut out these patterns and then I will show us what it looks like. So in order to cut out the patterns, I'll just close up the overbust that like so. I'm just trying to show us again what we need to do on that part. Okay, this is basically all for this pattern. So the next thing I'll do now is to cut it out. So guys, just watch where I'm cutting. Guys, be careful. I'm going to cut through my underbust line, cut through that point, cut out my yoke, which is the yoke inset. It's an inset yoke. So I'll cut it out like so and bring it out. I'll also cut out the side front. Can you take a look at how I'm cutting these patterns out? Can you see how beautiful the bust area looks like? This is to show you that this pattern was well drafted. Okay, I'll cut that out. And also I'll cut out my inset yoke. Now guys, let me show us one other thing. I mean, this tutorial is fully loaded. In case you want to add a strap to yours and you are not sure of what measurement to take, this is the best way to do it. From your strap to strap, just measure all the way to your shoulder line. That will give you exactly what your strap to strap what your strap length will look like. So for me, now take a look. I want my strap to be 1 inch wide. From my shoulder line down like so, I will just measure what I have from my shoulder line. From my shoulder line, from this line, yes, I'll measure what I have from there down, and then I'll connect it to a straight line. And that is going to give me the length of my strap, okay? The length of my strap. So guys, I've cut out my patterns, and this is exactly what I have here. I have my yoke. Can you see it is matching up? I have this part, I have the side front, I have the side back, and I have the center back. I also have my strap. Can you see? I have my strap cut out because I want to show us what it looks like. Now this is a strapless bustier, but you can decide to add strap to yours. So guys, I also went ahead to tape down my patterns. I love to do this a lot because it helps to show me how the final outcome for this outfit would look like. And as you can see, the underbust is laying so perfectly, and this is what you want to achieve by the time you're done making your outfit. More so, the sides are matching up. Can you see? The side front and the side back are matching up. So if you're scared that would they match up, yes they will, as far as you have already taped down your bust. That more so, I labeled my straps, the front and the back as well. So guys, this is basically all for these patterns. So in my next video, I'll be showing us how to sew, or I'll be showing us a tip or tips on how to sew this. And I hope you enjoy this video just as I do. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you can always get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till I meet you again in my next video. My name is Gift. Bye.